So as we discussed earlier, the parts of posterior pituitary gland. Now come to the histology of posterior pituitary gland. The posterior pituitary gland made up of unmyelinated nerve fibers. These are actually axons that comes from the supraoptic nuclei and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus, and the pituocytes that act as the supporting cells, supporting dendritic cells, and the glial cells like oligodendrocytes and astrocytes. So posterior pituitary glands are made up of two kinds of cells and axons from the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. Now come to the blood supply of the posterior pituitary gland. So posterior pituitary gland basically receives its blood supply from the circle of Willis. Come to the anterior pituitary gland. Anterior pituitary gland receives its blood supply from the superior hypophyseal artery, that is the branch of internal carotid artery. It forms plexus near the pars tuberculis part of the anterior pituitary. This plexus is called as primary plexus. It receives the signals in the form of hormones from the hypothalamic nuclei for the anterior pituitary gland. After that, this blood containing hormones travels to the adenohypophysis via the long portal vein. This long portal vein forms another kind of plexus here in the adenohypophysis. This plexus forms the capillaries and sinuses in between the cords of acidophilic cells and basophilic cells of adenohypophysis. And finally, they receives the blood from adenohypophysis to drain into the cavernous sinus and internal jugular vein. Now come to the posterior pituitary gland. In posterior pituitary gland, inferior hypophysis supply blood to the posterior pituitary gland and form a plexus near the axonal end of neurons comes from supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus, and this plexus is called as secondary plexus. So all the hormones like antidiuretic hormones and oxytocin mix in this blood and drain via the short portal vein into the anterior pituitary gland or into the efferent vein, finally into the cavernous sinus. So this was the from here to here, these blood vessels are called as hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now here we will see the hypothalamus as endocrinal gland that control the anterior pituitary gland. So that's why hypothalamus is called as master coordinator of hormonal action. So first, see here, the nuclei of hypothalamus like arcuate nuclei and other nuclei contain small size cells that are called as parvocellular cells. So these nuclei generate the hormone like growth hormone releasing inhibitory hormone, corticotropic releasing hormone, thyroid releasing hormone, gonadotropic releasing hormone, prolactin releasing and inhibiting hormones. So after production of these hormones travel via the axon to its axonal end nearby the primary plexus. So all these hormones enter into the blood circulation of this primary plexus and then drain via the long portal vein into the adenohypophysis part. Here these blood vessels form the sinuses around the cells of adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary gland. These cells able to make the trophic hormones of anterior pituitary gland. So hormone from the hypothalamus like releasing and inhibiting hormone act on these acidophilic cells and basophilic cells, and via the second messenger system of cyclic AMP and calcium plus 2 or inositol triphosphate, they generate the anterior pituitary hormones, and finally these hormones circulate back into this sinuses and travel to the target tissue or cells of the body and perform the functions like growth, reproduction, metabolic rate, stress, etc. So if we see here, now come to the posterior part of pituitary gland, the role of hypothalamus. Now the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of hypothalamus contain large size of cells that are called as magnocellular cells. These magnocellular cells generates the hormone like antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin hormone. So these hormones travel via the axon of this neuronal cell directly into the posterior pituitary gland, and here they release into the secondary plexus of portal system and regulate the water balance via the antidiuretic hormone and regulate the milk ejaculation via the oxytocin hormone. So these hormones directly via the axon and enter into the portal circulation of pituitary gland and produces the effect on body. Now come back to the hypothalamic part. As we see here, they receive signals from reticulo activating system, from thalamus, from limbic system, from optical system, and distantly from neocortex also. So any activity of reticular activating system like sleep or wake disturbances, any activity of thalamus section like temperature regulation, any activity of limbic system like emotion, fright, rage, smell, or any activity from the vision can disturb the secretion of hypothalamic hormone and subsequently can disturb the secretion from the anterior pituitary gland and finally can disturb the physical aspect of the body like growth, reproduction, metabolic rate, and stress. That's why all these psychological factors can affect the secretion of pituitary gland and hypothalamus. So that was the importance of hypothalamus in coordinating the hormonal action of the pituitary gland and body functions. Now come to the anterior pituitary gland proper. So anterior pituitary gland secretes three families of hormones. One is called as growth hormone, second is glycoprotein category hormone, and third one are pro-opiomelanocortin hormone. Growth hormone in this category there is growth hormone and prolactin. Growth hormone and human chorionic somatotropin hormone are similar to each other because they generate from the same gene expression. Right? Glycoprotein category, the thyroid stimulating hormone, the luteinizing hormone, and the follicular stimulating hormone. These all three hormones are same in their alpha chain, but there is a difference in the beta chain of these hormones. Pro-opiomelanocortin hormones. These hormones finally convert into the adrenocorticotropic hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, beta lipoprotein, and beta endorphin. So, anterior pituitary gland secretes growth hormone that stimulates muscles and bones to grow, secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone that regulates glucose homeostasis. They secrete thyroid stimulating hormone. They produce the thyroxine by thyroid gland. They secrete luteinizing hormone for ovulation and testosterone production in testes. Follicular stimulating hormone develops ovarian follicle and sperm in males. The prolactin hormone stimulates mammary gland to produce milk, and the secretes melanocyte stimulating hormone that controls the synthesis and dispersion of melanin pigment from melanocytes, and also secretes beta lipoprotein and interleukin and control the different physical activity of the body. Now from here we will see the hormones. So to describe any kind of hormone, we have to go through these points. First we have to know the source of secretion of hormone. We should know about the biochemistry of that hormone. We should know what are the functions of that hormone. We should know the mechanism of action of that hormone at molecular level. We should know how these hormone secretions are controlled, and we should know the applied aspect of the hormone like deficiency or hypersecretion of hormones causes which kind of diseases. So in the next slide we will see the growth hormone. So come to the growth hormone that is secreted from the anterior pituitary gland and is most important hormone of the anterior pituitary gland. The second name of growth hormone is somatotropin. So somatotropin source of secretion is secreted from the acidophil cells of anterior pituitary gland. The biochemistry of this growth hormone is belongs to helix bundle protein family. and it is made up of 191 amino acids. These amino acids are